Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. In this video, we will be talking about the T-38 Talon, the United States Air Force fighter jet trainer. Please remember to like and subscribe. This is a very cool and unique aircraft and critical to the US Air Force. Alright, let's get right into it. Fact 1. Supersonic. The T-38 Talon is designed to train the next generation fighter jet pilot, and as a result, because those fighter jets travel incredibly fast speeds, they need to also train in an aircraft that can also go supersonic, so they can understand what it's like and how to recover this emergency. So as a result, the T-38 Talon is a supersonic jet trainer. There are not many like it. This jet trainer is also designed for the more advanced stage of pilot training. Air Force fighter jet pilots do not start with this, they start with a typical propeller-driven engine that is common for flight training. For someone who has never flown an airplane before, they need to gain experience and proficiency in flying those type of aircrafts and also obtaining all the necessary ratings such as high power rating, multi-engine rating, as well as jet engine ratings. After those ratings, that's when they move on to the T-38 Talon. The T-38 Talon is incredibly fast and maneuverable and is for advanced pilots only. Most other militaries use a subsonic jet to train fighter jet pilots simply because it is much cheaper and less complex. However, the US Air Force specifically wanted a supersonic jet trainer in order to really make sure the pilots are ready for the real thing. Alright, let's get into the next fact. Fact 2. 2 independent hydraulic systems. Because this is a jet trainer, sometimes students may initially make mistakes, or sometimes maintenance is a problem because they need to constantly fly in the air to gain experience and as well as conduct the flight lessons. And in order to prevent any catastrophes, this plane is outfitted with 2 separate independent hydraulic systems. What this means is that when the aircraft is in operation, there's 2 independent systems that can control the hydraulic systems. That way, if one fails, the pilots are still able to control the airplane with the other system. It is fairly straightforward for any type of aircraft to have redundant systems. Because once you are in the air, if you are suffering some kind of malfunction or emergency, it's rather difficult to get some kind of backup if you don't have it with you, and so a lot of the airplanes have redundant system designed, and the T-38 is no exception. The 2 independent systems help the jet flying and serve as a redundancy, so that when there is a true emergency during flight, they don't need to panic and can recover from going through their checklist and land as safely as possible. If you think about it, having 2 engines is also a redundancy, since if one engine fails, you can still use the other one to try to get to a safe landing area. Almost all systems on an aircraft have redundancy, such as the radios and airspeed tubes. Alright, let's get into the next fact. Fact 3. Practice bomb dispenser. Make no mistake, this isn't a jet trainer for you to just fly fast. The pilots go on to fly the most incredibly fast and powerful fighter jets that typically carry weapons such as missiles and bombs, and so the T-38 needs to have bomb training as well, and as a result he has a practice bomb dispenser where the pilots can mimic dropping bombs on a target. It also has a scoring calculation system to estimate the bomb drop's efficiency and on-target accuracy, so that during simulations of war fighting they can practice as if they were flying a real fighter jet aircraft, and also practice dropping bombs at high speeds and make sure they can hone their accuracy. Because if you think about it, if you have never done that before and you get into a supersonic aircraft, you are probably not going to have a very good accuracy when you drop bombs if you never tried it before. And so the T-38 is designed so that the pilots could practice over and over again how to do this during high-speed maneuvering and still have an accurate drop bomb and missile firing systems so that they know what to expect during battle. As you can expect, this jet trainer is used to simulate real air battles, and so they absolutely need a simulated weapon system so that they can make sure what they practice will be relevant with the real situation during an actual live firebombing mission. Cool, let's get into the next fact. Fact 4. Pressurized cockpit. The T-38, from what it looks like, you may think that it is not a pressurized cockpit. The cockpit is all glass and the canopy is all glass, and you may think that because they are wearing oxygen masks that the cockpit is not pressurized, and other fighter jets may have this kind of feature in their airplane and that the cockpit is not pressurized. However, the T-38 is pressurized up to 10,000 feet. And so if you think about it, if the pilots fly below 10,000 feet, technically they don't need to wear that oxygen mask. They have enough air to breathe at that altitude. However, because this aircraft is a high-speed supersonic aircraft, at any given time, they are getting an order to fly to say 30 or 40,000 feet. They just do that right away, and it only takes a couple seconds to reach that altitude. They wouldn't have enough time to put on their oxygen masks, so they need to wear at all times in case they get into high altitudes where the cabin pressure is beyond the level of oxygen that the human needs. Oxygen supply is extremely critical for flying. It isn't like climbing a high mountain where you slowly enter an area with less oxygen. In a fighter jet, if the pilot does not have a mask on and they climb to a high altitude, they may not have time to realize their oxygen is low before they pass out. Alright, let's get into the next and final fact: NASA and private aviation. As I mentioned, the T-38 is the United States Air Force's first supersonic fighter jet trainer so that its pilots can graduate and start fight F-16s, F-15s, F-22s, and so forth. However, because of its high maneuverability and high-speed, private individuals as well as NASA have procured this aircraft for their own use at the time of this video. NASA operates a fleet of T-38s, designed to train astronauts in terms of pulling forces or simulating other types of flying situations when they are re-entering from the space. Private individuals was also able to procure this aircraft for their own use. There's not that many. It's quite rare for a private individual to have this fighter jet trainer. However, it is possible for private individual to own it and fly it. Really, only T-38 are owned by private individuals, while the remaining private ones are owned by corporations with government usage. For example, Boeing Company owns 2, and the National Test Pilot School owns 2. They are likely government contracts that would require these companies to fly the T-38 for service. Alright, that's it for my video today. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. See you next time.